In 1971, something changed. Not a crash, not a crisis, but a decision. From that moment, the game of wealth stopped working for ordinary people. You weren't told, your parents weren't told, but every financial struggle you've had since, it traces back to that one moment. If you've ever felt like the economy is rigged, you're not paranoid. It is biting in. You'll see how it was rigged, when it happened, and why 90% of people never escape. This isn't motivation. This is the mechanism. If that matters to you, subscribe to The Modern Elder. We don't do hopium here. We do truth. Let's begin. August 15, 1971. President Richard Nixon walks into the Oval Office and makes an announcement. The United States is abandoning the gold standard. The dollar is no longer backed by anything tangible. It's just paper and trust. Economists called it the Nixon Shock. Most people didn't notice, but here's what happened next. Before 1971, wages and productivity moved together. If the economy grew 3%, wages grew 3%. If you worked harder, you earned more. Simple. After 1971, productivity kept rising, but wages flatlined. Between 1973 and 2023, worker productivity increased by over 77%. Wages increased by 12%. Where did the other 65% go? Up? To the top 10%, to the people who owned assets, not the people who sold their time. Here's the truth. The game didn't break. It was redesigned. And you're still playing by the old rules. Quick question. Do you know what year your parents bought their first house? And how many years of salary it cost them? Drop it in the comments. Let's compare it to today. Oh wait, let me show you how this plays out in real life. Two people, both born in 1980, both middle class. Person A saves $500 a month in a savings account, works hard, stays disciplined. Person B takes that same $500 and buys index funds, real estate, anything that counts as an asset. Fast forward to 2025, Person A has maybe $200,000 in savings. Sounds good, right? Except inflation ate 40% of its value. Person B, over $1.2 million. Same discipline, same income. Different game. And here's where it gets dark. Person A was taught to save. Put your money in the bank. Don't take risks. Be responsible. That advice worked in 1960 when interest rates were 5% and housing costs 2x your salary. But in 2025, that advice is financial suicide because savings lose value, assets gain value, and the system needs you to keep saving so the people with assets can keep buying. Let me tell you about Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart. In 1985, Forbes named him the richest man in America. But here's what most people don't know. Sam Walton paid himself a salary of $350,000 a year. That's it. Not millions. Not tens of millions. So how did he become a billionaire? Ownership. He owned 39% of Walmart's stock. When the company's value went up, his wealth went up. He didn't work harder. He didn't work more hours. The asset appreciated. And that's the formula. Rich people don't get rich from income. They get rich from appreciation. The house goes up. The stock goes up. The business goes up. While you're trading time for money, they're watching their assets multiply. And the system is designed to make sure you never own enough assets to win. Be honest. What percentage of your net worth is in assets that grow in value? Not your car? Not your furniture. Real assets. Comment below. Let's see where we're all starting from. Now here's the part that's going to make you angry. The system doesn't just want you to avoid assets. It wants you in debt. And not the good kind. Let me explain the difference. Good debt. Borrowed money that buys an asset. A rental property. A business. Something that makes you money. Bad debt. Borrowed money that buys consumption. A car. A vacation. A bigger TV. The rich use good debt. You're encouraged to use bad debt. Credit cards with 24% interest. Car loans for depreciating assets. Student loans for degrees that don't guarantee income. The average American has $90,000 in debt, and almost none of it bought them an asset. Here's the mechanism. Debt keeps you working. You can't take risks when you have payments. You can't start a business when you need the paycheck. You can't wait for the right opportunity when the bills are due. So you stay, you work, you consume, and the cycle repeats. Meanwhile, the wealthy? They borrow at 3% to buy assets that return 10%. They use debt as leverage. You're using it as a trap. Same tool, opposite outcome. Let's talk about Robert Kiyosaki for a second. The guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Love him or hate him, he explained one thing perfectly. The difference between the rich and everyone else isn't intelligence. It's financial literacy. The rich teach their kids about assets, liabilities, cash flow, and equity. By age 12, a rich kid understands what a stock is. By age 18, they understand leverage. The average kid, they learn to fill out a job application. and it's not an accident. The school system was designed in the industrial age to create workers, not owners, not investors. Workers. Show up on time, follow instructions, don't ask too many questions. That's the curriculum. The education system never taught you how to read a balance sheet, how compound interest works, the difference between income and wealth, how taxes favor asset owners over wage earners. Why? Because if you understood those things, you'd stop playing the game they need you to play. Last question. What's one financial concept you wish you'd learned in school? Drop it below. I want to know what we're all missing. So what do? How do you escape? Step 1. Stop trading time for money exclusively. You need at least one income stream that isn't tied to your hours. Dividends, royalties, rental income, equity in a business. Start small, but start step 2. Think in assets, not income. Every dollar you earn, ask, is this buying me an asset or funding my lifestyle? They're rich by assets first, lifestyle second. You've been taught to do the opposite. Reverse it. Step 3. Use debt like the rich do. If you're going to borrow to buy something that pays you back. A rental property, a business, an education that guarantees income. Never borrow for consumption. Step 4. Teach yourself what school didn't. Read one book on investing. Watch one course on financial literacy. Spend 30 minutes a week learning the game. Because ignorance isn't bliss. It's expansive. Look, I'm not saying you're going to be a billionaire next year. I'm saying the system was designed to keep you exactly where you are. It's not about hard work. It's about understanding the structure. The people at the top, they know how money works. They know assets beat income. They know debt is a tool, not a burden. They know the rules because they wrote the rules. And the cruelest part, they need you to keep not knowing. Because the system only works if most people stay on the bottom, producing, consuming, working, while the top 10% collect the appreciation. But you're still here, which means you see it now. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If this hit different, subscribe to The Modern Elder right now. We don't do surface level advice here. We go deep. Hit the like button if this changed how you see the game, and drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. Your future self will thank you for watching this. Make sure they thank you for acting on it too. The system doesn't fail you by keeping you poor. It fails you by convincing you the game is fair. It never was. Now go win anyway.